Right, we're in. Hopefully this version will work till the machines decide to talk to each other. So let's see, except for the little accident here. Your papers are in order. So, in this box. Of course, if you submitted them online, you're not here to pick them up, but if you submitted them physically, generally they should be in there. Come on. And let's see, codependent rules, wisdom way of the teacher. Ha, okay. Working? Working, good. All right. So I talked to you about mimetics. Have you heard of this before? No? Okay. That was the reaction I got from my doctoral dissertation people. They thought I was crazy. Memes, you've never heard of that. Oh, concept just came out in 1985, and we're in 2005. What am I supposed to say? That's why they, when Obama first got elected and they said that he was running a viral campaign, that's actually where the term came from. When something goes viral, yeah, well, that came from here. Mimetics. There's actually a book called Viruses of the Mind that basically deals with memes. So the reason I'm bringing that up is I noticed while correcting your midterms, consistent errors, which means either people are doing the test together or you have the same misconceptions, which works either way for me, I don't care. But you need to know about this stuff. So, this term was coined by a biologist, Richard Dawkins. Now, Dawkins is an atheist. I'm kind of an outspoken atheist. I'm not down with that. I'm not an atheist, but I am a social scientist and I am a scientist. So I was having a conversation with a client today, and he says, I don't like the use of your term soul. And I said, well, I'm African American, and soul is a technical term for us, not a theological term. Okay, something has soul or not. And it's a quality you recognize by having it or affirming it or not. And it's kind of like that, there's a Portuguese word, saudade, which is basically, it's a thing that you only know by its absence. You know that it ain't there, but you can't necessarily name it. Well, that's kind of like, those are memes, because I used another term, elephant in the room. He goes, what do you mean elephant in the room? Okay, I said, you're an adult child of an alcoholic. The elephant in the room is the fact of your parents' alcoholism and what it had to you. So basically those rules about don't talk, don't trust, don't feel, the elephant in the room is the fact of the addiction and how you learned how to love by not being loved by them. And that may contribute to your inability to have, relationships or whatever. That was your idea, but okay. So the elephant in the room. Basically, I said, look, you Google the term, right? And so the concept of the elephant in the room is a meme. Because it's like, this elephant is in this room. And just so think about if there were an elephant in the room. Well, wait, the elephant's bigger than the door. How did it get in here without the Starship Enterprise? Well, the room was built around the elephant. Or the elephant was a baby that got let in when it could fit in the door, and you kept feeding it peanuts or whatever, and it grew too big to leave, so now it's part of the furniture, which still works as far as the meme of alcoholism or race or whatever it is. And if you Google the image, you know, even the term Googling, that's a meme, right? It's only one search engine. There's lots of them, right? If you Google the term elephant in the room and click on image, you'll get all these really crazy pictures that are funny. Like an elephant in a corporate boardroom, or an elephant in somebody's living room. And there's even an elephant in the living room where the elephant is like the same color as the furniture and the wallpaper. That's really a hoot. So basically all those concepts work. So Dawkins comes up with, he's a biologist, and biologists study life. Gene is the smallest unit of replicating life. Okay? The smallest unit of replicating life. And one of the things that Dawkins noticed was that there are units of replicating thought. And he called these memes. So meme, M-E-M-E, rhymes with cream. So a gene is the smallest unit of replicating physical life. A meme is the smallest unit of replicating thought. So a meme is like a virus of the mind. Now, the tricky part of this is a virus of the mind. You have to understand how viruses work for that meme to work for you, to really comprehend what it means. So, how do viruses work?
Well, don't they sometimes kind of sneak in on top of something else? They're contagious.
Yeah, viruses are contagious. Well, why are they contagious? Well, they do replicate, but you don't know the precise mechanism, right? You don't. I'm guessing because you're not answering. And that's cool. Okay? Now, what I've been trying to do is like give you, you are very intelligent folks. I could tell from some of the answers and some of the creative ways you answered stuff. Wrong, but it's okay. I'll be talking about that, all right? So, let's do basic biology. Here's a cell. You probably remember this from high school biology, et cetera, and, right? And this is called what? Nucleus. And what's in the nucleus? What? Say again?
The brain.
The brain, good. What else? What in particular is the nucleus's brain? What is in here that is nowhere else? DNA, right? Now, it's turning out with 21st century technology that the individual cell is more complicated than a human city. Each one. In terms of what it does. Now, without getting too deep into that, let's keep it simple, all right? So DNA is in here. So this is a complete life form. We humans, with our trillions of cells, and remember, among, at least 3 pounds of your body weight is another several billion, if not trillion, bacteria. Okay? That you need to live. You need to live it. You definitely need to live. Like, you definitely like it when your poop comes out solid, not liquid. right? And it's bacteria that do that, among other things, okay? So for example, if I draw the mitochondrion is kind of like the battery of the cell. The mitochondrion has different DNA than you do. Mitochondrions probably started out as a separate bacteria than the rest of us. See, we're a bunch of cells that decided to work together and create us. And a mitochondrion is basically, somewhere in our evolution, a separate bacteria that decided to work along with us for our mutual benefit, and then simply got replicated with each and every cell. So it's the battery for the cell. But that's why if you've heard crime shows and stuff like that, when they talk about mitochondrial DNA, that's the DNA that you got from your mom. That's what they're measuring, because it changes faster than the DNA in your nucleus. Okay. So this cell by itself is a complete unit by itself. It does its own oxygen, it does its own waste, etc., etc. It could live independently as long as the environment's together. A virus, on the other hand, and I'll draw it in red, is simply a protein coat with some DNA around it. And the virus outside of the cell doesn't work. It's inert. It might as well be dead. But it floats around, and essentially what these little projections are, a virus infects a cell and it needs a cell to work. So what a virus does is sometimes, so let's say this is an AIDS virus, an HIV virus. The HIV virus is really specific in the cells that it infects. So one of the things, see, a virus is basically, it just wants to replicate. So the cells, like for example, if this were a white blood cell, these projections actually attach themselves to the cell wall at a specific place, and then the cell absorbs them, because it basically, okay, this is garbage, I'm going to eat the garbage and try and dispose of it. But what actually happens is that once it gets into the cell, the virus gets inside the nucleus, hijacks the DNA, and turns the cell into a virus factory. And what happens then is the cell dies, because you just hijacked its brain, and then it ruptures. And this is the way viruses work. All viruses. Cold viruses, herpes viruses. Viruses can't live without cells. And they essentially hijack the cells, make them into virus factories, and then, the body. So eventually what happens is, see, the virus wants to replicate, but it can't be successful. It's constantly evolving. So if you got infected with HIV, the virus is making 1 billion particles a day. That's how fast it replicates. And your immune system, it takes your immune system about 10 years to break down, unless you're doing alcohol and other drugs or things that compromise your immune system, and then you get sicker faster. But otherwise, a healthy person, it takes about 10 years for you to become sick with HIV.